Kim, welcome back. How are you?
Good. How
Nice.
are you? Good to see.
Just serenading the community.
I love that.
So, how are you doing with this? The big question is, and I've been looking at things too, Kim. If you have any charts to share, we could do that, or I could share mine. But the big question was, okay, we had this sell-off. We stabilized Monday, whether or not that's a low or not. Are you in the camp that we've started a new trend? Um, or are you in the camp that this could be a great buying opportunity for another rally in the S&Ps, maybe to new highs? Where are
In
you
the
at?
camp, I'm in the camp that we're going to probably just be sideways up until the election.
Okay.
That's my camp. I just think, yeah, we might have some pops up, pops down, but I think like until there's certainty. Um, so, and seasonally, this isn't the best time of year. I think, isn't September like usually red?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, through mid-September. And so let's look at S&Ps here. So do you think the range low has been established? To me, it looks like we're going to get an A, B, C up here. Um, I'm conflicted on whether on the question I asked you. That's why I'm asking people that question to see what, because I have to look at both sides of both cases, the bear and bull case.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh,
absolutely.
you have to. In fact, I talked to Peter Brandt, and his philosophy is we have to deal with the possibilities. Okay, that means
Hmm.
everything will happen, anything will happen, not probabilities, because that probabilities say that you have a bias, and
Hmm.
never certainties, because that's an oxymoron, certainty in the market. So the possibilities are, you know, that we can regroup and make another new high in the S&Ps, but certain things I don't think will. For example, semis look broken to me.
Hmm.
They could recover, but they look broke. I mean, if the S&Ps rally to new highs, I don't think semis get much above this. I think that's what it might take. So, are there any sectors that you feel comfortable with, or this was kind of a car wreck, right? The unwind of the carry trade, the end carry trade. Are you trading less because of it? I mean, I told people not to trade Monday.
Well, lots of people couldn't trade Monday because many of the brokerages were shut down, Monday morning. Um, Not
Yeah.
Tastytrade, though, I might add. That was up
Okay.
and running flawlessly. Uh,
Okay.
but
What do you think's
I don't,
behind that, Kim? Is this a dress
well,
rehearsal? Huh?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. However,
Right.
I'm really not. And I do like
I
to do
believe you.
research and see all sides of things. But I personally, I think that if the brokerages hadn't been shut down, we were headed. I mean, I was watching it midnight my time, so that's you live on the West Coast, and it was 3 o'clock Eastern time. And when Japan was, just
Yeah.
kept going down like free falling essentially, we were kind of doing the same thing. I mean, it wasn't stabilizing there for that few hours. Then kind of stabilized overnight, of course. But once the markets opened, then all of a sudden those six brokerages were down. So, in my opinion, you know, I think that probably someone got a call. But I mean, I had someone from CNBC retweet me because I had said this or quote tweet me, and they were basically saying, well, that would be illegal. And I'm like, I'm not saying that anyone's doing that, but it just was kind of suspicious in my opinion. But it did stabilize the markets, right? Um,
And maybe prevented people from making an emotional decision. But
Absolutely.
it's
Yeah,
very
for sure.
unethical. It's very unethical.
What's your thoughts on it?
Well, that worries me.
Yeah.
That that kind of thing is happening, and good to know. Whose ever broker was up and running, that's a good sign. I think I've talked to the president of Tastytrade. I may check them out. And
Yeah,
uh,
Tom Sosanoff is the one that
there's been
runs
a
it.
lot of weird things. The 60 VIX, and I don't know if you know anyone who trades VIX calls, but they didn't respond.
Well, I was short the VIX futures, by the way.
Okay, all right, all right.
But
But
this shows you why you take small position sizes if you're trading options, because it flew up. I was short at about 20. I think my entry, and I did the micros, so this wasn't a mini, but I was
yeah,
short at about 22, and a very small position. So, you know, it was just a good reminder of why and it's futures, right? So it doesn't expire. But it's a very good,
yeah,
but it's cash settled every night. So it's a very good reminder of why you trade small, which is Tastytrade's
yeah.
philosophy.
And also, when you're selling volatility and it's successful for years, except for minor pops to 20 or so,
Yeah.
hubris is built up. And there
Hmm.
were ETFs that people were buying that were executing short vol trades. So it
Hmm.
wasn't the 10% pullback in NASDAQ that generated this short squeeze. It was everyone on the same side that you were on.
Yeah.
Because historically, with recency bias, it just kept working. And I've said that uh, that was part of my bullishness is that ETFs are doing that, and that one day, even though you've picked up quarters off the sidewalk, every expiration, that one day the steamroller comes
Hmm.
and takes it all away. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's some people that went broke. But the fact that they didn't put premium, even the intrinsic value, not even close to the intrinsic value, in VIX calls.
Uh-huh. That's what
Um,
I'd heard.
did you hear that? Because I own these
Yeah.
20s. So they should have
Yeah.
been worth 4 grand a piece.
Yeah.
You know what they went to?
Exactly.
400 a piece.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
futures,
criminal.
obviously. Yeah. 100%.
You
So
know,
what do you
uh,
think?
I just tell people don't trade VIX options. It's my last
Yeah.
experience with them. To be right and hardly get paid on a historic move like that,
Yeah.
huh? And that's
I,
another good war story.
yeah.
It's a
No,
good
that's,
war
that's a
story.
really good point. Uh, but have you ever
But the
traded VIX
markets are.
future?
I've done the VIX derivatives, like the VXX,
Yeah.
where they can erode with time, but at least they worked, I believe.
Yeah, they did. Well, they did because I was on the opposite side of the trade.
Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's
I,
a
I
Go ahead, Kim.
I use VXM. That's the
Okay,
micros.
okay.
Yeah.
I also, you've been trading for a while. Can you give me,
Yes.
and you're technical. You do a lot of technical stuff. Can you tell me why, um, that's a 10-year.
Well, I'm not as much a technical trader. I do look at charts,
Okay.
but it's my husband that is the
Okay.
technical trader. Yeah.
All right. Well, you look at charts.
Yeah, of course.
So can you tell me why TLT turned from a market that used to have full-bodied candles to dots?
I do
I
not
mean, when
have
you
the
look at a
answer to
chart like
that.
this, don't you think that maybe you're looking at a bulletin board stock or one of these real thinly low floaters that you have to make an appointment to do a trade?
Yeah, I'm not sure to the answer of that, but what a nice move on TLT. We had talked about
Yeah,
that last time I
yeah,
was here.
yeah. giving some of it back here. Uh, what do you like?
I like that it's in a steady uptrend. I don't like that
Okay,
spike though.
okay. Any sectors that you like, Kim, in this environment, or what issues do you like?
So, like you said, I mean, obviously, when volatility goes, I mean, traders love volatility, right? But, because you can get those big dead cat bounces. I mean, my husband, when it was down 1,000 points, he's like, "This is a gift, buy
Yeah,
it." But yeah, I've lightened up and I started lightening up probably, I don't know, June, July. I mean, lightening up, adding some cash, not taking my main long-term positions off, right? But some of my more short-term plays, like I had JMIA, some of the stocks that you trade on momentum.
okay.
So I have not been trading those through this, because for me, you can get smacked down. And if I'm going to do that, I like to swing trade,
Yeah.
not day trade it. And so, I mean, obviously tech is broken right now. It's been nice to see that overall, even though Buffett sold so much Apple, that it's, you know, kind of held up. Costco's held up very well. Have you seen that?
Which one?
Costco.
Uh, no. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these things reached targets that seemed aggressive when I was talking about them, like
Hmm.
200 and Microsoft. So, actually overshot it. So we're at major support. So I think this rally is important. See what we do here
Hmm.
in the
But
next
the
couple of
price
weeks.
action has been horrible. I mean, when we're up 300 points in the morning, it's sold off
Yeah.
every day. Like
One day
yesterday,
rallies. Yeah.
yeah, yesterday I saw it going down and I put a couple micro shorts on MNQ and MES. And then once I heard the bond auction was bad,
Okay.
then I added. And, it was a straight down shot from there. So um, it'll be interesting because we have a 30-year bond auction, I believe, today. Is that correct?
Yeah. The banks were the leaders and held up. They were the last to cave. They didn't cave until, you know, Monday or Tuesday, and they're
Yeah.
back under their breakout line, like the Dow is. So, uh, you know, there goes some of the leadership, right? So, I mean, what I've seen is that people are mainly talking about staples and utilities.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
rotating into the safety trades.
yeah, yeah. So they'll unrotate today.
And honestly, there hasn't been a great environment in this last year. I love to sell calls against my stocks.
Yeah,
And, this last year and a half has been a horrible environment to do that in, right? I mean, unless you want to wheel it, which that's just a lot of management, right? Um, unless you want to wheel it, then, if you were trying to sell premium, which I had on, occasions, you were just getting like, even if you were selling like a 30 delta, or even trying to go to maybe a 25 delta to get good premium and going a month out, 30 days, let's say, 45 days, you were still like, that you were still getting obliterated essentially, right? Um, if you were selling calls against positions that you wanted to hold. So that hasn't been a great environment to do that in. And so now what I do love is this is a good environment. So on Apple's earnings, this is before Buffett announced, I do own the stock. I want to hold it. And so I did hedge wrappers on it. I looked at options flow because I do check that out just as an indicator. And I use bar chart. And I sold calls and bought a 210 put. Uh, and I
nice.
think I sold the 220, bought a 210. And so, I was like, okay, if it goes to two, or maybe it was 222, but I didn't pay for the trade. I made it an even trade. And so the nice thing was, I'm like, okay, this is a volatile environment. If I if Apple does go up, I'll be able to roll those calls out most likely, and it'll pull back because that's what's been happening during earnings. So in that respect, it's really nice with this
Yeah, you have some,
volatility and range trading.
right, and you have some premium to sell if you're going to be the house.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I do love to do that because it is a great way just to raise cash. For me, it's a great way to raise cash, you know? You
yeah,
know, there's many different ways to raise cash, and people I think sometimes don't think about, and I mean raise cash to reinvest again.
right.
I think people don't, retail traders sometimes don't think about, oh, well, I don't have to necessarily sell my positions. I can sell against my positions, and that's raising cash, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's really a pearl.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
yeah,
And so that's a benefit of this.
right.
And then also, you know, you could like with the high volatility, you can like buy let's say a future MNQ, you know, Tastytrade was showing this. I think it's a great call, and sell a call against your future to get premium.
Okay. So, yeah,
So I
yeah,
think that the premium trade, and I'm saying selling it where you don't have the risk, right? The risk of selling a covered call is I turn over my stock. So I don't have, my account's not going to blow up. I'm just going to lose my stock.
okay.
Same if I have a
Gotcha.
covered call. Yeah. So safe trade, you know why you're doing it. And this is a great time when the premium has shot up. I see VIX futures is way down again, though. Like it's huge down today.
What is that?
The VIX futures is
Oh,
down
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
huge today.
yeah, yeah. There it is. So, but, you know, does this speak to the fragility of the market at all to you, Kim? That,
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
we've seen 10% corrections in the S&Ps with, seeing something like this without the VIX acting like we're in the middle of COVID or bank failures.
Well, I was reading some, there's maybe you want to look him up, Victor Jones, and he does do some shows with Tastytrade. And I was reading something that he was putting out about how the VIX was miscalculated that night or something. So I don't know how true that is, but that's somebody that I trust,
Okay.
that is knows the markets very well. So, and I've seen a couple people talking about that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I just
That it
think there were
really
a lot
didn't
of
spike to
people.
that level.
I just think that it was a short squeeze, and they were having
Yeah.
their people that had been doing it for years and were thought it was never going to end, and
Hmm.
everything can happen, and it did.
Well, and what
So
my husband kept saying to me is he kept going, this is overnight. You want this to happen overnight. This is the time to happen. This is the pajama traders, he calls them.
okay,
And so he was pretty confident, like,
that
and
it
he's
was going to
done
be
this for
just
a
a
while.
panic low. He wanted
Exactly. Yep.
so a capitulation low. So we'll
That's,
see.
mhm.
Um, to me, this level, if we get up here, is going to be important. This 5,400 was the low that held after the first break, and then we had this like day and a half rally, and that's it.
Yeah.
It was a day and a half, and it was pretty sharp. Squeezed people. But look at how you could tell what the trend is how fast it gets from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Okay, that's impulsive,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So far,
Yeah.
this
That
is
looks,
corrective to me.
it looks like a waterfall down.
Yeah, Wile E. Coyote, here he is. The Roadrunner's back
Uh
here
huh.
chasing,
I
and
mean,
the ledge
exactly
gives
like
out.
that.
Boom. Um, so I'll try and sell a rally up here and to see what to try it.
Yeah.
But we start getting much above this, and maybe the case for new highs is for real, but I'll have to probe
I mean,
some contracts. Go ahead.
I do think, within the next 6 months that we will go lower. That's what I think. I mean, we went straight up and we went straight up on an AI trade essentially, right? I mean, the markets were exuberant. I mean, obviously, I'm talking more at a retail level, right? But that's how I see it. That when you trade every day and you see markets go straight up, it's like this isn't normal going straight up either. I know we have V-shaped recoveries and those happen, but there's always like a give back. There's always a time that the market does correct. I'm not saying crash, but there's always those times when the market's going to go down 20%.
Yeah, cycles.
I think it's amazing.
Both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's and seeing what happens when the Fed does cut interest rates, and is that going to be bullish? And people were calling for like emergency rate hike. I mean, Powell has never done any emergency anything.
He creates them, but he doesn't do
them. But yeah, he's pretty like, I'm like, Powell is not going to do an emergency rate hike.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know if something really was broken, but it was basically looked at that time like it was Japan and we were just way overbought.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's NVIDIA. So that's had 5 waves down too. It'd be interesting to see if they could squeeze a new high out of NVIDIA, but there's your poster boy for AI. So a lot of people are saying it was a bubble and it's popped. And
well, did you see SMC?
Oh, go ahead.
Did you see SMCI?
Yeah, I know that's the other AI trade.
So the high was 1,200, and it fell yesterday about
There it is. Yeah.
And so it fell yesterday. Mm-hmm.
What a breakdown. 700 to 1,200.
I mean, it's given over 50% back. Yep. Or it's given 50% back.
Yeah, it would have to
over 50% back.
Yeah. So this is the company, what's the guy's name, where they mainly invest in Bitcoin, right?
No, that's Mr. MSTER.
Okay.
They're doing a stock split, but so yes, that one, but this was one of those ones trading euphorically.
Right. Like this.
With NVIDIA on the NVIDIA trade, right?
Okay. So it's a round trip.
Yep.
We could end up with a round trip. So if we had a round trip, go ahead.
And interestingly, we've had so many stock splits, and after a stock splits, it doesn't go back to new highs for a while. I don't know what statistically the length of time is, but NVIDIA and
that was right near the top when they split, right after.
Yep. So I think NVIDIA could definitely hit into the 80s. That would still make it an $800 stock pre-split.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't even be shocking if we had a complete meltdown if it went down into, because in I think May, correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, you have it up there. So in May, it was around 60. Yeah. Is that May? So 70. It went down to 765, I think, pre-split. Yeah, right. Because at that point, I was like, I should buy it. And I didn't even have time to think, should I buy it? Because it like bounced the next day 100 points or something, You could see that low. And basically, it bounced right back up.
Yeah. Then gapped. A lot of gaps.
But I played calls, and then when you get these expensive stocks that are on momentum, everyone's using calls. That's what I did too. Instead of owning the stock at that price, I just used calls to trade off NVIDIA, right? So that's part of it too, I think, is you have people pushing it up through the options market.
Yeah. Are people still mainly trading the 1-day options? That's still where it's at.
I mean, there's always a group of those people that trade 1-day options, but the only 1-day options are, the indexes, right? Or SPY, SPX. But NVIDIA has weekly options. But still, that's high gamma if it squeezes on you, right? And the rapid theta decay.
Do you think
So
Amazon looks like a broken stock, Kim?
yeah, I own it.
Yeah. So I was telling people get out back under 191, old support, new resistance. And really, this kind of happened in a day. We got to 191 and we were down here. This must have been Friday. And here's
Yeah,
Monday.
what a move on that one. I mean,
Yeah.
again, that's just like I don't want to necessarily trade out of. I've already lightened up on it. I still want to hold Amazon
Okay.
long term. So, selling calls, doing a hedge wrapper, anything like that is, you're not going to get one for one, but you're going to get some. You're going to be
Yeah.
making some of your losses back, and then it goes into
Right.
cash. And then you can have that to redeploy when
Right.
Amazon, and I have a short call on it right now.
So you're
You can
dancing.
redeploy
I call that dancing. You're dancing
yes,
around with your
like a
position.
ballerina. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you
Yeah.
what,
And
it's go ahead.
like I said, it hasn't been a great time to do that. So I do welcome this part of it because I can
Okay.
hold on to my long term.
Yeah.
The one thing I've learned in my life is I'm not a professional trader, so I can't trade in and out of every single stock I own. I have stocks that I swing, but I have stocks I want to be in. So then how can I, protect myself somewhat when we start topping out? I don't want to,
Okay.
I can trim, but I don't want to I'm not going to bring my whole portfolio to zero.
To
I mean,
cash.
I'm sorry, to cash. Yeah, to all
Yeah.
cash. I have
Yeah.
done that before, by the way, and it's not
Hard to
necessarily a good move.
redeploy. Hard to redeploy it
That's the
all, isn't it?
hardest.
Yeah.
100% agree. Yes, that is the
Yeah.
biggest issue. And I could think of so many stocks that if I, so I've learned my lesson. I could think of so many stocks that if I had just stayed in that trade, and for me, doing hedge wrappers or selling covered calls, it still gives me peace of mind, even if I'm not getting one for one. I still feel like, okay, at least I've, taken some steps to reduce the delta in my portfolio and feel better about it.
Okay. I just want to let everyone know, first of all, they should follow you, Kim, on
Thank
X
you.
at Mom Vester, and that Kim is involved in a lot of these spaces on X where there's
Yes.
pretty good attendance. I don't know if you're running them, but to
I
learn what you are, you are.
No, Wolf Financial. I do it with Wolf.
Oh, okay,
Um, and those are all it's his, he does them, but then I am on as a panelist about
okay.
6 to 10 times a week.
So yeah,
He
so
runs them always.
you talk about these things, and do you tweet about these things that you're doing as well? I don't follow your stream that closely.
Uh, you don't? No, I'm just kidding you. I used to quite a bit. I haven't as much lately. But we do talk about it all the time on spaces. And it's really nice because
Okay,
most of the people that we're on with are, really knowledgeable. They have different ways of looking at it. Sometimes there's some professional, people that have been in the business a long time and some not new, but that, might have other jobs. But yeah, he does a really good job at having really good spaces. And they're about all sorts of different things, you know.
okay,
So we're doing a trading competition right now where we each put in $2,000 and people can follow our portfolios because we're trying to show how you can take small amounts and invest. So Wolf and me and there's a group of us that are having a $2,000 trading investment. You can't buy options. You have to hold your positions at least a week, and you can't deploy more than 20%. So we're just trying to show people how to invest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's
Cool.
been fun.
Yeah. So there's some good mentoring going on. Follow Kim around online, and that's how you find her on X at Momavestor, MOMMAVESTOR. Follow Kim.
Yes.
And Kim, I appreciate you being here and sharing ideas, and how you dance around things when you still want to hold assets and you want to raise cash without raising cash. What
Yeah.
a great idea. Because what aren't
Thank you.
options? I mean, I buy them sometimes. Like I
So
told
do
you,
I.
the
Yeah.
VIX call. But options are like relationships. 90% expire worthless,
Yep, that is the
right?
case.
Huh?
And
It's
once you start feeling like you're hitting a bottom, then selling cash secured puts, I
yeah.
don't I don't trade. I personally don't trade on margin. If I'm going to use leverage, I'm going to use the futures, or I'm going to use um I don't remember what else I was going to say, sorry.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah, I don't ever want it's going to be hard for me, and I'm not trying to be arrogant. I don't mean it like that. It'll be hard for me to blow my account up per se, because I make sure I don't take on that kind of leverage.
Use
So
less
that
leverage.
doesn't mean I'm not going to go way down. I'm not saying I don't get
Yeah.
hit. I do. I got hit pretty bad the last 2 weeks, but
Yeah.
so
You know how to fight back. You've learned how to fight back. And it's not
yeah,
by
and
being
when
emotional, it's by harvesting income.
mhm,
It's an
yep,
interesting style. And a lot of people would just try and get it back with outrights. So this is something that you could do where you don't have to be as emotional about it, too, because you have
exactly.
the K working for you, unlike,
And the more risk, when you could just, last thing I'll say is, by that night, right, by Monday, it's or Sunday night, it is such a good reminder, because I did have that short VIX trade on, and when that thing blew up, I was like, oh my gosh. Now, it wasn't going to break my account, but it was taking more money than I wanted it to, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's cash settled every day. And I was like, okay, this is always a good reminder why you stay small, because people get complacent. I get complacent, right?
yeah,
So,
yeah. So
yeah,
that's the opposite of FOMO is complacency. And
agreed.
so it's hubris almost, like how you felt when you were younger, that you were immortal, right? So
Right. Hmm.
anyway, I really appreciate having conversations with you, Kim, every time.
Thank you. Love always talking with you. It's so fun. I really
All right.
appreciate you having me.
All right. We we want to thank you for coming here and sharing your expertise. I know you don't think you're a pro, but I disagree. And
Well, thank you.
good hunting, Kim, and we'll talk in the fall in front of the
Okay,
crazy
thank you.
election cycle.
Yes,
Okay.
that'll be a great time to talk. Okay, bye,
All
Dale.
right. Bye, Kim. So follow Kim. Could join the team in about 9 minutes, everyone, on the morning edge. Get your edge. Join the community. So what do we have going out here? Uh, taking a little out of the euro. I still think the euro is still some type of ABC. I'd buy the dip. Aussie holding. Yeah. Gold. Maybe it'll fail. I'm telling you, I would love for it to fail. S&Ps. Are we going to fade here from this route decline to here? Or is it going to be a C that takes it up to 3.5 to 4? We'll see. Time will tell. Don't just count your pips, count your blessings, everybody.
Hey traders, this is Blake Morrow with Forex Analytics. Thanks for stopping by our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like these videos, share them, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of the content that we provide here for free. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you in the next video.